Well, hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title, today we are talking about some baby names. I'm going to be telling you guys some baby names that I love but won't be using. If you don't follow me and you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Riley. I am a mom to a little boy, and I'm right now expecting baby number 2, who is a little girl. And if you follow me on Instagram, we have been having a lot of trouble coming up with a name for baby number 2. She is still nameless. We have a few top contenders, so I won't be saying those in today's video, but I do have 10 girl names and 10 boy names of names that we love but won't be using. We are kind of on the fence if we want to have a third baby, but we do have a name in mind for a boy if we do have a third baby and he happens to be a boy, so I won't be sharing that name either. But I do have some good ones on here that I love so much, but the problem my husband and I are having right now is that names I love, he doesn't really like, and names he likes, I don't really like, so it's just kind of been a little bit of a power struggle and just a little bit of a struggle in general trying to figure out a name for this little baby girl. But I know we will come up with something. Push comes to shove, we'll just have a few names in mind when we go to the hospital, and I'm sure once we see her we will figure it out, but I'm trying not to stress about it. Everybody keeps telling me it will come to you, you will find a name for her eventually, so I know that we will. I'm just a planner, so I would really like to have a name for her, and I feel like I always feel a little bit more connected like when they have a name, and like that's why I like to find out the gender so I can just have a plan, feel a little bit more connected to them, kind of get to know them, because when you're pregnant you kind of are growing a little stranger in there. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into my list of names. I will preface and say that we kind of like older classic names, a little bit vintagey, a little bit grandma-ish. So if you like those type of names, stay tuned, and I hope that you get some inspiration from this if you are in the same boat as me and cannot figure out a name to name your little baby. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the girl names. So my first name on my girl list is Emmeline, and I love this name so much. I don't know if you've watched the show Army Wives. I used to love the show. Sometimes I still watch it as like a comfort show, but Emmeline was one of the girls' names on that show, and I loved it so much. Again, one that I really love and my husband doesn't really care for. He thinks it's a little bit too southern for what we're going for, and I love the name Emma. He's not really crazy about the name Emma, so that is kind of where we differ there. But I just think it's kind of a longer name, but a lot of nicknames you could use. You could call her Emma, you could call her Em, you could call her Lynn, a lot of little nicknames that you could use for her name, and I'm all about the nicknames when it comes to a name. You will kind of see that trend throughout this whole little girls and boys names. That is a big factor in naming a baby for us, is what we could call them as a nickname. So number 1, just gonna circle back a little bit, is Emmeline. So number 2 on my list, this is one of my absolute favorite names and something I have wanted to use since I was little and like even thought about having babies, but my husband again is just not on board, doesn't really love this name, and it is Elodie. I personally have never really heard of a little girl named Elodie, and I just love the uniqueness of it. I love how it kind of just like rolls off your tongue, kind of like Melody, but if you wanted something a little bit more unique and you like e-names, I think Elodie is such a pretty little name for a girl. You could call her D, you could call her L. I just love it. I love thinking of all like the little nicknames you could have for a baby, because you know it's bound to happen. Like you always have a nickname that comes along for all of your kids, I feel like. Number 3 on my list is Julia, and I love this name. I think it is so pretty. My husband and I do this thing where we will use like a baby name in conversation, and we'll say like baby Julia, and we'll just try it out for a little bit to see if it fits. And every single time that we said this with this baby, it made us think of my Aunt Julie, and I love my Aunt Julie, but it's just like a really close association. So again, a really sweet and pretty name for a little girl, just wasn't the right fit for us. Number 4 on my list is Quinn, and we really like this name. This was kind of a big contender in the beginning, but kind of along the same lines as Julia. We don't know anybody personally named Quinn, but the more we said it and like use it in conversation, we didn't know if it really fit for like a little girl name we wanted for our family. I thought it was so cute. You could call her Quinny, you could call her Q. I'm all about like the one letter or like one syllable little nicknames, so I think Quinn is such a cute little name for a girl. And again, not super common, at least for me personally. I don't know a lot of people named Quinn. Number 5 on my list is Ruth, and I think this is such a short and sweet little name, kind of an older name, a grandma, old ladyish name, if you will. Both my husband and I like this name, but again, it didn't feel like it was a really good fit. I just thought it was super cute, and again, one of those short and sweet little names for a girl. Number 6, this was one of my favorite names, and if Kyle was on board with it, this probably would have been our daughter's name, but it is Juniper. I absolutely adore this name. I wanted to name her Juniper Joe and call her Junie Joe, so if you are wanting a first name and a middle name and you need some inspiration, please take that if you like Junie Joe. Joe is my middle name, so that is why I like the middle name Joe, but Juniper is one of my all-time favorite little girl names. 7, this one is a little bit more classic and kind of a longer name, but it is Lillian. I think it's so pretty. Again, one of those names that just kind of like rolls off your tongue. Very classic. My great grandma's name was Lillian, so this was on my list for a while. The reason my husband and I kind of strayed away from this one was because we don't care for the nickname Lily, and we just know that people would gravitate towards calling her that because Lillian is a longer name and there's not really much other names, like nicknames to call Lillian besides Lily or Lil. So love the name, just weren't crazy about the nickname. Number 8 is Everly, and I think this name again is so pretty, but it's kind of gaining some popularity in like the recent years, recent months, so that's what kind of turned me off to it. But again, such a sweet little name. You could call her E, you could call her Ev or Evie. I think it is such a cute little name with cute little nicknames to go with it as well. Number 9, this was another one that my husband and I both really love, but we just can't use it, and it is Ada. We love a short, sweet little name, but Kyle, his cousin, her daughter's name is Ava, and it's just a little bit too close because we are very close with them, so we think people would get them confused all the time, and it's just too close of like a word association. So Ada was number 9 on my list, and I just think that is such a sweet little name for a girl. And lastly, on my girl list, number 10 is Emerson. And this name we had as a top contender for quite a while. It has some significance to me, and that's kind of the reason that I wanted to use it for a while. If you don't know or you haven't followed me for a while, my grandparents passed away last year, and this was a street that they lived on, and it just kind of held a special place in my heart. But again, one of those names I love, but I just don't feel like fits for like what I would want to name my daughter. But again, you could call her Em, you could call her Emmy, you could call her Sunny. I think it would be such a cute, sweet little name for a girl with a lot of cute nickname potential as well. But that is all that I have for little girls. So I'm going to move on to little boy names. And I feel like everybody's kind of like 50-50 with naming babies. Like you either have a really easy time naming girls or you have a really easy time naming boys. And for me, coming up with boy names was so easy. Like I said before, if we do have a third baby, we do have a boy name already picked out. If he happens to be a boy, obviously, we don't know that, but I won't be sharing that name in this boys list, but I still have 10 really cute names for little boys that are kind of along the same theme as girls, a little bit old-fashioned, classic, little boy names that you might not have heard before. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1, and that is Nathaniel or Nate. Now this is more of a common one. It doesn't really go along the lines of like the old-fashioned or unique names, but I feel like this is just a classic boy name that I don't personally know anybody named Nate, and I just love this for a little boy. So you can have the full name Nathaniel and shorten it to Nate, or you can do either or, which I like the versatility of both. So number 2 on my list for little boys is Brooks. I actually got this name from the daycare I worked at. There was the cutest little boy who had this name, and I just fell in love with it. So it's kind of been on my list for a few years now, kind of in the back of my mind. But when we came to naming boys, we had a set name for James. And if we do have another little boy, like I said before, we already have a name. We have our heart set on for him. So I love the name Brooks for a little boy, but sadly we won't be using it. Number 3, I have Holden, and this is a name I feel like I haven't heard like ever. I don't know personally anybody named Holden. This could just be me. Some people could know a lot of people with this name, but this kind of goes along the same lines with the Army Wives trend. I kind of got this name from their last name on the show, but also a dental hygienist that I used to have. She had a little boy named Holden, and I just kind of, again, put that in the back of my mind to put it on the list in my phone as a little boy's name that I always thought was kind of unique and really cute. Number 4 on my list is Malcolm, and I love this name. I think it is kind of like a strong name. I don't know where I got this from. I think I first heard it on Outlander. If you watch that show, there is a part in the series where he goes by Alexander Malcolm, and I think I just kind of had that in the back of my mind from there. But I do have a little nephew, and his name is Mac, so I feel like for Malcolm, that's really the only nickname that I can really think of that would go with that. So that's kind of why we pushed it out of our contenders for little boy names, but I still love the name Malcolm. Number 5, this was actually a big contender for a boy name for me and Kyle if this little baby was going to be another boy, and it is Graham. I love this name. I think it's such a cute little name for a little boy. There's not really any nicknames I could go with Graham. You can always do that first initial and call him G, but other than that, off the top of my head, I can't think of any nicknames, but I just think this is a cute name, and again, I don't know a lot of boys named Graham. Number 6, kind of going along the lines of Graham, is Grant, and this was kind of Kyle's like Elodie or Juniper, if you will. He loved this name. He was really pushing for this to be our boy's name if this baby was a boy. I just don't fully love it. I like the name Graham better than Grant, but again, a name that I like and a name I don't really hear very often. So if you like kind of names like that, again, I feel like a little bit of an older name. So Grant was number 6 on our list. Number 7 is Calvin, and this name, I think I know one person named Calvin. I'm not sure exactly where I got this name or where I heard it from, but I just think it is such a cute name for a little boy. You can call him Cal, you could call him Vinny, cute little nicknames for a little boy, but number 7 was Calvin. Number 8 on my list is Drew. Now this is a more common name. I personally know quite a few Drews. My boss is named Drew, and this was a name that my dad always wanted to use if one of me or my siblings was a boy. He had 3 girls, so didn't really get the chance to use it, but I just love the name Drew for a little boy, short and sweet, even if you wanted to do Andrew and call him Drew. But again, just a little bit too common for me, but something I've always had on my list for a little boy name. Number 9, I have August, and this one I feel like is gaining a little bit more popularity, but I feel like is kind of an older name, kind of a little bit more of a unique name, but I think a cute little nickname for August would be Augie. I just think it's such a sweet name for a little boy. Could even be used for a little girl, but I just see it more as a little boy's name for us personally. But again, if you want something a little bit more on the unique side, I think August is super cute. And number 10 is a name that I love so much, but my best friend's little boy is named this, and it is Theodore. I just think it's such a cute, like older classic name, has really cute nicknames. You could do Theo, you could do Teddy, you could do that first initial again, you could do T, which I love so much. So that was the last name on my little boys list. I hope you guys enjoyed all of these names. I hope you got some inspiration if you are in the same boat as me and you are struggling to figure out what to name your baby. If that is you, I feel for you. Just know that there is time and you will find a name for your baby, just like I know that I will find a name for this little girl. But I just thought it would be fun to make this video in case you needed some name inspiration or something to add to your list. If you like older names, kind of like I do, vintagey names, needed something you might not have heard before. But I think that is all that I have for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and I hope you drew some inspiration for some baby names of your own if you are struggling like me and aren't quite sure what to name your baby, or you and your partner can't agree on a name to save your life, because trust me, I completely understand that. But if you like videos like this, please consider giving me a like and a comment down below. Or if you have any baby name suggestions for me that are kind of in this same realm, I am always looking for suggestions and inspirations, and I just love to watch baby name videos and like hear other people's names and get different ideas. I just think it's really fun. Also, I did ask on my Instagram a few weeks ago if you guys had name suggestions for baby girl, because I was just in a rut. So if you'd like me to do another video with those names, it's just primarily girl names, but again, if you're in a rut with girl names, I think that would be a really fun video to make. So leave me a comment down below if that is something you would like to see. But I will leave all my social media linked down below for you guys as well if you want to follow me on there. I'm really active on my stories, and on YouTube I just kind of post a little bit of everything, mainly just lifestyle content, a little bit of motherhood, cooking, like I said, just a little bit of everything. So I will leave everything linked down below if you want to follow me elsewhere. But I think that is all that I have for you guys today, so I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.